So I put it in rotation. It's not like it's mine. I do. I've got one.
Lots of law enforcement here today.
Reminds me of being a kid. Oh.
Okay, here it is. We're late. We're sorry. So it is August 25th. Let's call this meeting to order, and please stand for the pledge and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sal?
Father God, thank you for entrusting us with your town. I ask once again to give us your wisdom and discernment to lead your town, make decisions for the best of our citizens. And please continue to put a hedge of protection around our staff, our officers, our residents, our board members. May we honor you with everything we say this evening. In your name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sal. All right. Roll call.
Commissioner Ramos,
Present.
Commissioner Cullen,
Here.
Commissioner McMullen,
Present.
Vice Mayor Satterfield,
Present.
Mayor Stark.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. All right. So has there been any ex parte communication?
No, ma'am.
No.
That's always good. So we have a couple of proclamations. The first one is for Healthy Selfie Day. And we have a proclamation that I'm going to read. Whereas Healthy West Orange inspires healthy behaviors and provides resources to make residents make better lifestyle choices. And whereas Healthy West Orange champions healthy programs that deliver health and wellness activities. And whereas Healthy West Orange unites health-minded organizations for whom a healthy community provides meaningful benefits. Whereas Healthy West Orange advocates for healthy community decisions and encourages local leaders to keep their community's health and wellness a top priority. And whereas Healthy West Orange declares the third Friday in September as the annual West Orange Healthy Selfie Day. Therefore, it is my great pleasure and privilege as the Mayor of Oakland to declare Friday, September 18th as West Orange Healthy Selfie Day. I urge all citizens to join in supporting this initiative. If you want to pick.
You taking a selfie with a selfie stick. So if you want to receive shirt, if you want to hold up the shirt to show what you're going to be sporting while you're here,
Here is your proclamation.
See if we can fit everybody in. Smile over your head.
I tell you what, we could actually go stagger a little bit, which would actually
Yeah,
probably look.
let's socially distance. Stagger like this.
Oh,
Yeah, not stagger.
You have to stagger later.
No, let the fire down. Heather, you can come back up this way.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea. Socially distance.
Little guy in my front.
How's that?
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, this looks.
Good idea.
And again, hold it right there. That is so wonderful. I think we got it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
And you don't, thank you. You don't have to, awesome. You don't have to stay and suffer. Okay.
There you do.
That's fantastic.
Thank you very much for the shirt.
Thank you.
That really made it look good.
I know, it did.
And everybody's smiling. Thank
That's
you.
one good thing about these masks, is you can't take a bad picture in a mask.
You know, it's funny how when someone takes a picture, you can actually just smile anyway, you know, and you don't even have to. Yeah.
It's like being friends with
The mask.
one of the chipmunks
Yeah, that's true.
standing there.
Yep.
Okay, we have another we have another, it's not a proclamation, it's a promotion. So I'm gonna let the chief take this one, I guess.
Hello, everyone. We're still waiting for Sergeant Lena's wife to get here. We could probably, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
I'm gonna say that you can let me know when you're ready and we can just keep moving on.
Yeah.
Are you good with that?
Yep, all right, let's do that.
All right. So we have public forum, which anyone who is here, which doesn't look like anybody who's not law enforcement, may ask to be recognized to address any matter not on the agenda. We ask that you keep your comments brief. Oh, you, no. No. So anyway, doesn't look like we have any takers, do we? Okay, let's do the consent agenda. That'll be quick. We have a consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions or want to pull anything out from the consent agenda? All right. Okay, thank
I'll
you.
make the motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, I need a second, please.
Second.
All right, any questions or comments from the audience? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Congratulations there, Rick.
yes, thank you. Oh, and just, to make color commentary, thank you, Rick, for volunteering to serve on the board of the Oakland Nature Preserve. That was part of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Rick.
Yes,
Welcome.
we appreciate your service.
Mayor, may I interrupt for a moment?
Yes, please.
Was there anyone from the public perhaps that wanted to speak?
Okay, everybody is staff except for the one number I do not recognize. Does anyone wish to speak? And Joseph, yell at me if I forget you.
Oh, he will.
Okay, seeing no one.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So Steve, do you think Orange County interlocal agreement for road transfer will take very long?
It'll take about 15 minutes, I'm thinking.
What about interlocal agreement for the roundabout, or do they have to come one behind the other?
Yeah, I've got them both in one presentation, so it'll take about 15 minutes for both.
Okay, what about? Oh, okay, good. Perfect timing.
See how bad they didn't want to stay 15 extra minutes?
Okay, we should make,
She's here.
make you all suffer.
She's here. I hear her in one
Like us.
Hello.
No,
No pressure.
This is Sergeant Lena's wife. And she's coming here to help pin his badge on him today.
Okay.
Corporal Steve Lima has been with the Oakland Police Department for almost 3.5 years, of which the past year or so he was promoted to corporal. Prior to that, he had been with the Haines City Police Officer for over 5 years. And during all this time, or almost all this time, he's also a 20-year military veteran of both the Army and the Navy Reserves, multiple tours downrange, a lot of experience. Corporal Lima was recently awarded the CIT Crisis Intervention Team Open Officer of the Year from Aspire Health for his work with citizens suffering from mental health issues and de-escalating certain situations. And effective August 17th, Steve Lima was promoted to the rank of sergeant. This is a very important position within the Oakland Police Department. It makes him part of our management team. We're a town police department, not as large. So his rank actually is, I think that puts him fourth in line of command, I think. So it's a big deal. Sergeant's rank is actually a very big deal in our profession. And today, we'd like to honor him with his badge pinning ceremony, which literally takes however long it takes his wife to pin this to his shirt, which is not easy to do. I'm here to tell you.
Like putting on a corsage.
Yeah. So, Sergeant Lima. Congratulations, and this promotion is well deserved.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
And what's one? This is not very easy to do.
Nope.
It's fun, though.
Even if you stab him, it's okay.
That's the fun part.
I gotta wonder if Ryan's gonna need to go like this. Wow, impressive.
Oh, that was good. Sergeant Lima.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good, Commission.
Yeah, actually, I think that would be a good idea. What you want to come on up here?
Come on, guys. You're stuck with us for another minute or two.
Yes, ma'am.
Roll it.
Right outside the door? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going this way, out the door.
Hey, come on.
I'll run towards other things.
See you later.
We don't want to get on. But I'll check my own mind, send them another text. I'll have it before, I mean, as soon as I get it, I'll just send it.
You're good. All right, thank you.
All right, good, good.
Oh,
It's all yours, Mike.
oh.
Aw,
Still on the record.
Yes, still on the record.
Mhm. I'm just leaning. I don't know.
You want to get up?
So great, yeah, so you volunteered for representing the nation, or representing the Commission on Nature.
He gets to sit with me now.
I was gonna say, yeah, who did we have before?
Frank Merrick.
Oh, yeah, right. We got a lot of stuff on the plate, so get ready for it. I hope your wife's ready for it. Yeah.
You're gonna scare him off before you get to the first meeting.
He's already appointed, so, yeah.
that's one of them.
Tell me when you're waiting on me.
I think we are, aren't we?
Yeah,
We're ready whenever you are, Mayor.
we have cleared the room.
Well, you know, a lot of things will do that. So this is resolution 2020-05, elimination of annexation fee exemptions.
This is
You want to,
other policy matters.
Oh, sorry. I always skip that because it looks to me like consent agenda. Orange County interlocal agreement for road transfer.
all right. So we've got two interlocal agreements on the agenda. I'm going to go through each one of them individually. So the purpose of this presentation is to present to the Town Commission a summary of the two proposed interlocal agreements with Orange County government. The first one is the transfer of jurisdiction of Oakland Avenue and Old County Road 50. And you'll see that in the two agreements as Old Highway 50 and Old County Road 50, just so it's the same thing. Construction of the roundabout at the intersection of Oakland Avenue and Old County Road 50. So the first one I'm going to go through is the transfer of the jurisdiction, and then I will go through I'll ask for a vote on that, and then we'll do the construction of the roundabout as the second one. So I just want to give a little bit of background on this transfer. Oakland Avenue, or also known as County Road 438, is a county functional classified road in the county road system. Oakland Avenue and the identified segment of Old Highway 50 are contained within the town limits and function as a local road within the town. And just to put this into perspective, Plant Street and Franklin Avenue or Street and Ocoee are all part of that same road, and Winter Garden has taken jurisdiction of Plant Street, and Franklin is under the jurisdiction of Ocoee. So this last piece that the county wants to move to the town of Oakland, it does make sense in the big scheme of things. Much of the right of way along the road is town right of way. So in many places along Oakland Avenue, the county is in charge of just the pavement from edge of pavement to edge of pavement, which again makes this even more complicated under the way it is right now. There are jurisdictional issues and statutory considerations concerning the maintenance of signs and right of way. Again, if you look at the statutes, they'll tell you that the city's in charge of the signs. We could make a case that the county's in charge of the signs. There's just a lot of jurisdictional issues with this particular road and how it's set up between the right of way and just the care of the road. The county is desirous of transferring the jurisdiction of the road, and the town is willing to accept the transfer. We've had quite a few discussions over the last 6 months. My partner's been a big part of that. And one of the things that this does give the town and the commission is you'll be able to control future improvements to the road to town standards per the mobility master plan. So I know there's been discussion many years ago about Oakland Avenue should be a 4-lane road, it should be a 2-lane road. There's been a lot of different discussions. The jurisdiction and the future of the road will solely be up to the town commission by taking jurisdiction of the road. So some of the main points of the agreement that I wanted to make sure I got on the record here. Within 12 months after the effective date of the agreement, the county shall resurface the east segment with pavement markings. And I've got a map that I'll show after this, but to kind of let you know what the east segment is and the west segment is. Within 12 months after the final completion of the roundabout, so we need to get that roundabout project taken care of, they will resurface the west segment, which is the Old Highway 50 and Oakland Avenue, coming up to where the Turnpike Bridge is at. As part of that, we've also got them to agree to do the grass shoulder rehabilitation on the entire length of Oakland Avenue. So I believe we've gotten the agreement. It'll be about 8 feet from the edge of pavement. It'll come in. It'll be a little rough for those people that live along Oakland Avenue, but if you drive Oakland Avenue, you can see where the grass and the soil has built up along the road. It doesn't allow the road to drain properly when it's like that. So they're going to come in and rehab those shoulders all the way down at the same time that they repave it. So you'll see up on the map, the eastern segment, which is in blue. So it's from the Winter Garden Oakland line to the Turnpike Bridge. And again, there'll be some construction, so there'll be a little bit of a buffer there because there will be construction going on with the turnpike next year. And then the red section and the orange section would be resurfaced 12 months after the roundabout. And I've been looking at Oakland Avenue, and it's getting kind of tired. It's time for it to be resurfaced, and so this is a good time to be doing this. So the first requested action here on this particular interlocal agreement is to approve the interlocal agreement between Orange County, Florida, and the town of Oakland regarding the transfer of jurisdiction of Oakland Avenue and Old County Road 50. And Mike's here, or any questions anybody might have on that.
This is something we've wanted. It's just happening a little quicker than we anticipated, correct?
Yeah, well, yeah, and I was trying to negotiate some additional work on the road as part of the sales tax proposal that Mayor Demings had, and that's been put out for 2 years. But I have assurances from the county they'll work with us if that sales tax comes up again, where we can get some improvements, some additional improvements to the road with some intersections and some things like that. But yeah, this is definitely, it has been discussed. I looked through the JPA. It doesn't specifically say that, but the JPA does talk about taking county roads once they're more than 50% in the town, which we've taken a couple, J.W. Jones, Hull Island, and the Orange Avenue, because they're more than 50% in the town. So this one is entirely within the town's jurisdiction. So yeah, it's been discussed as part of this roundabout project for a while.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've been discussing it, but I was thinking that it wasn't going to happen till next year.
Well, originally I was working off of that
better.
premise because of the sales tax, because I would have been going to referendum in November, and I was trying to tie the two together so that we could get some additional help with the road. They are going to do, make sure that it's up to a certain standard by resurfacing and rehabbing the shoulders. And again, if the sales tax does come up in 2 years, if the time is right for that, this will certainly be part of our what we're looking at as far as priorities.
So would it be safe to state that this gives us control
Yes.
over the road and, while I would say while we are in place, I can't speak, I don't have a crystal ball to the future, though I wish I did, that this will allow us to maintain the quaint country feel of this road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any improvements from here on out after they resurface them will be based on what the town commission wants.
Because I know that residents are concerned about that.
Yes.
All right, do we have any questions at the table, or Joseph? Joseph's shaking his head.
Got a question. So even though if we're complete in 2 years with this project, with the roundabout and the asphalt on both sides, we could still go after the sales tax if Mayor Demings
Yes.
gets that?
Part of the sales tax.
Even though it's complete?
Part of the sales tax proposal included the cities and the towns being able to work through some of their priorities, because they wanted to have us all as part of the approval process. They wanted to get the cities and towns on. So yes, they were giving us an opportunity to put some priorities down and list some projects that we could go through using that mobility master plan. We'd already put together a list. We can find that if it comes up again. But it'll give us the opportunity to do some additional improvements, including intersection improvements, sidewalks, lighting, all those kind of things to make it, to keep it that community road and design the way that the commission wants.
Personally, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, I need a motion, and I think it's already written for you.
I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement between Orange County and the town of Oakland to transfer the jurisdiction of Oakland Avenue and Old County Road 50.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from the lack of the audience? Okay, back to the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on.
All right, now we go to the second of the interlocal agreements. And by the way, so once these are approved, we'll get them to the county and they will be scheduled on the county agenda in the next probably 60 days. And then the timeline on the roundabout, I think I've discussed it a little bit. And I'll go through this real quick and then I can talk about the timeline. So the roundabout at the intersection of Old County Road 50 and Oakland Avenue that includes the West Orange Trail has been contemplated. I found an old development order of Lake County that contemplated this from 2006. I don't know if it goes even earlier.
It was.
But it's been around for at least 15 years.
It was offered when they were thinking about building Plaza Colina.
Yeah, that's the development order that I read through. There was
It was going to cost $200,000.
well, there was 200,000
Or so,
Plans
That was it.
or so.
for the plans, the civil,
Well, there was a $200,000 set aside from the developer in that agreement. And just so you know, that agreement is null and void at this point. In 2016, when Claremont went through the annexation, that development order,
And where did that developer go?
I have no idea.
I don't think he's working here in West Orange County anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure who was the developer,
Tom Hard.
but the development agreement became null and void at the point that Lake County, or that the city of Claremont annexed that and the development, or there were some legal things that happened there, but that ship has sailed. But again, since in the last couple of years, we've put together, working with Orange County, we've got a grant for the project. But just give you a little background. So the county and town have determined that traffic constraints exist at this intersection. The county and the town have determined that the design, permitting, construction, and operation of a roundabout at the intersection will alleviate some, it won't alleviate all, but it'll alleviate some of the traffic constraints and will enhance the safety of the intersection immensely. And then, like I said, over the last 2 or 3 years, working with the county, the state of Florida has allocated $1.2 million for the project that became available on July 1st as part of the current state budget in the 2020-2021 fiscal year, and it's in the FDOT work program.
Which is a small statement considering the work that has been done to make that happen,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
If I wasn't already gray, it would have made me gray.
Oh. Well, like I said, getting to this point was incredibly difficult. Building it isn't going to be any more fun.
So as part of the discussions that have gone on with this and how the funding's been procured, the county will bid the project and manage the construction due to the county's ability to meet all the requirements outlined in what's called the local agency program agreement, a LAP agreement that's with the state. The state has very strict guidelines on how those LAP agreements work, and the county's in the position to be able to manage the construction based on the county's or the state's guidelines. Again, the state requires a LAP agreement to spend state funds, and the county is seeking to enter into that agreement, and that's part of the timeline that'll happen in the spring. That agreement will be between the county and the state for that LAP agreement. The county is also seeking through Metro Plan some additional funding. If that does come to fruition, this agreement takes that into account also. The total cost of the project at this time is estimated at $2.4 million.
Not 200,000.
200,000 to $1.2 million is in there.
Yeah. And the sooner we can get this built, I think the better, because I don't, you know, the prices seem to exponentially grow. The main points of the agreement, the town will design, permit, and acquire the right-of-way, which we are. There's on the consent agenda was some of the work that's being done on that. We're at 90% on the design. I think we've satisfied all comments on the 90% design, and we're real close to being 100% on design. So the town has taken that and using our consultants, CPH, to get the design done. The town, as part of that, CPH is also working to prepare and deliver the bid package per county and FDOT standards. And let me tell you, their standards are pretty lofty, and it's taken a lot of work to to meet both their standards with the county and the DOT. The town and the county will each budget $700,000 and will equally share. So it's a $1.2 million construction, or $1.2 million grant. The county and the town will each put up $700,000, given a total budget of about $2.6 million for the construction of the project. The town will budget $300,000 for what's called the CEI on the next slide. The CEI, the construction, engineering, and inspection costs. The county has bid that out. I believe they're working on hiring a consultant for the CEI. The county's maximum contribution will be $100,000 for the project. And in our impact fee budget that I presented to the commission on July 28th, we've got $1 million budgeted in transportation impact fees for the town's share. So that has been identified and budgeted. And so we are ready when this thing gets to that point of notice to proceed. At the end of the project, the town will accept jurisdiction and maintenance of the roundabout once the project is complete. One other thing to note with all this funding stuff that's going back and forth, should the county get additional funding for the construction of the project that will lower our cost, that $700,000 will be decreased by, we'll share and whatever. So if we were to get the entire project funded at $2.4 million, then both the county and the town would share equally and not having to pay. And then if it is fully funded, the county will pay half of that CEI. So if they are successful in saving money for both the town and the county through a grant, they will also share in that CEI cost. So
That's good. Very good.
So there are some things built into it. We'll just have to wait and see. They feel pretty confident, and that's their wheelhouse there, working with MetroPlan. But we'll support them in any way they need support as far as that goes. And just as an attachment, there's a schematic of what the roundabout's going to look like, and the general area is the other one. So those are two attachments that go along with the agreement. But any questions you have about the roundabout? This is just one of the boxes we need to check, that the town is in a pretty good position to put everything over to the county, and the next steps will be theirs. Like I said, they are procuring the CEI, so they'll have somebody on contract in the next couple months for that. They are working with the state on the LAP agreement. That'll be probably March timeframe. Once the LAP agreement is executed, then the state will lock that money up, that 1.2 million, or if it's more, they'll lock that up by May. At that point, once it's locked up, they'll give the county the go-ahead to bid the project. I'm thinking it's probably like a July timeframe to bid, and probably November of next year will be under construction. So that's just a kind of an update on the, that's kind of fluid at this point, and it'll be in the county's hands once we move past that.
So when did you say you think it's going to start?
Probably November of next year.
A little over a year, so quickly.
It is a lengthy process.
How long will the construction be once it starts?
I believe, is it 60 days or no, 6 months or no?
Yeah, there ain't no 60 days.
Nothing in 60 days.
6 months.
Next November of next year.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
21, so
So 2020, by summer of 2022,
May of 2022.
maybe.
Things come to the.
Well, Alicia,
Summer of 22.
that gives you quite some time to put together a communication plan about this.
I'm going to, in October, I've got a presentation I'm going to show you that DOT provided that talks about the Turnpike project. There will be some overlap between the two construction projects. I have no control over the Turnpike, but I don't want to do anything that displaces the money for this project. So we're
How does this take so long?
Just for what it is.
So was the county successful in delaying it a year?
no.
Okay.
The money is,
This is real
there
time.
was some talk that it was going to be pushed a year
Yes.
because of the CEI and a couple other issues.
Yes.
We were able to work through those issues with them. but it's still, again, there's, all of this has to take place, and then they have to negotiate with the state on the LAP agreement, everything that happens with the county. Like, we get this to them on Thursday is what I'm thinking. It's probably 60 days before it even gets on their agenda.
I'm telling you what.
Wow.
I don't want to get.
It's not you. And yeah, I know.
It is.
I know.
We got our list of things that we needed to take care of, and Mike and I have been working through
You
that.
have been, I mean, you guys have been so diligent about this, but this is why people don't understand. You know, they just don't get it. They don't understand it. It's out of our hands.
Well, and you've heard the discussions about how long it takes to, people move into an area and then, the road doesn't come for 3 or 4 years after. You got to get the funding together, and then there's they've been working on this turnpike expansion for, I think, since 2016.
Yeah.
And they won't start construction on that till next year.
I know, I just had a conversation with a resident this morning about why, when you because, and it's a very logical question. When you see the development coming, why can't you get the road going?
I would have asked that too.
It's a fair question.
It is.
But Mike Parker had the answer, because that's the way it is.
You don't want to hear my answer.
No, I did. That was the best I could do for you, Mike.
So anyway, I just want people to understand that we have done everything that we can to keep this project on track, funded, and, residents are not going to enjoy the construction either. Trust me. I know that.
Part of the whole design, they've got a maintenance of traffic plan. They'll shift traffic as they need to. It will be painful, but there should still be a flow of traffic going on, to keep things going. And they've got some space to work on, so they can work in that field, get some of that done, and then, kind of shift things around.
I mean, it's just a
It's
fair.
not going to be easy, and that's just.
Well, it's just a fair question. And this is why roads follow rooftops, and this is why.
It is what it is.
Yep. But we appreciate staff's diligence because they really, guys have been all over it.
Mike's been, a yeoman on this as far as getting stuff done and working through some of the issues. So it's been definitely been a team effort.
So do you need another?
You've had your moments too, so.
Yeah. But yeah, the requested actions up there in the interlocal agreement.
Do we have any other questions, comments? Need a motion, please?
Commissioner McMullen, does he?
I'm good.
All right, I'll make the motion to approve the interlocal between Orange County and Town of Oakland regarding a roundabout, the intersection of Oakland Avenue and Old County Road 50.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Lack of audience, any comments? Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Anybody on the phone? I don't see, who is that?
Jeff Richards.
Jeff works for us.
Renee.
I see one. Oh, is that Renee? Okay.
Renee Cypass.
So, okay, I just want to make sure if anybody's on the phone that they have an opportunity to speak.
I will say that once we got in line with the county, they have been good to work with. It was a little painful.
Oh, and I'm not saying they aren't.
But they've been helpful in getting this thing moving.
It's the process that's the problem. All right, where are we? Ah, gotcha. So we have resolutions 2020-05, elimination of annexation fee exemptions.
Read the title.
Sure.
A resolution of the Town of Oakland, Florida to eliminate exemptions to application fees for annexation and related processes and providing for conflict, severability, and an effective date.
All right, I'll say a little bit here. This is just a kind of a cleanup. We don't need to encourage freebie annexations, and that includes all the rest of the fees that tend to go with those. So we just decided that it'd be best to take that out and let people pay their full fees when they come in, because that's annexation, comprehensive plan amendment, and rezoning. So that's what you'll be doing there by passing this resolution, is eliminating those exemptions, so to speak.
So when I looked at that, it seemed minimal. I mean, it's not like we're making a huge change. It's like $1,500.
Well, it can easily be that, Mayor. Just depending upon what the rezoning is, what the plan amendment is, but it's not a huge thing.
Yeah, just the annexation. If it's greater than 5 acres, it's $1,000.
Right.
It just takes out some ambiguity that was in the fee schedule and trying to figure out who gets it and who doesn't.
Yep.
We really don't need to discount and try to encourage people. They're going to annex in.
They need to pay the fee.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that we weren't passing something that was like, a huge fee change. So anyway, do we have any other questions?
No, I don't.
No.
Joseph?
Nope.
All right, I need a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2020-05.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, any comments? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right. Resolution 2020-07, transition of retirement plan to Florida League of Cities.
A resolution of the Commission of the Town of Oakland, Florida, establishing a defined contribution plan and deferred compensation plan, providing for execution of trust joinder agreement, providing for adoption of defined contribution plan and a deferred compensation plan, providing for acknowledgement of master trustees, providing for execution of an adoption agreement, providing for abiding by terms and acceptance of services, providing for termination of participation, providing for acknowledgement regarding assets, providing for approval by master trustees, providing for full force and effectiveness, providing for repeal of conflicting resolutions, and providing an effective date.
All right, I'll speak on this one. So, and Renee's online if there's any questions I can't answer, but essentially we have a current plan through John Hancock for the benefit of employees. It's more of a 401k type plan. We have looked around and we got some information from Florida League of Cities, who offers the Florida Municipal Pension Trust Fund to many of the smaller and mid-sized cities in Florida. And what we came back with was it would be very beneficial both in fees to the town and fees to the individual participants on their plans to go with the Florida Municipal Pension Trust Fund. There's definitely a significant savings, money that individual participants of the plan will benefit from, having lower fees on the money they have invested. And they do have a very good, diverse and options as far as where you can put your money, with Vanguard funds being part of the things that you can choose from. So I've been very impressed with what they have to offer, and I think it's probably a great move for the town and the participants. So this sets that up to have both a 401A and a 457B deferred comp, allowing the best way for government employees to invest their money.
Okay.
With that, any questions? We'll have a transition plan. They've been, honestly, the Florida League of Cities representatives have been very good to work with, very responsive. I will say that Nancy and Renee have been doing most of the legwork on this, and they've been very impressed with the transition plan that they put together and how responsive they've been as far as being able to work with the employees and some of the things that they're offering.
Do we have any questions?
No, that's,
The kind of thing we like.
Yep.
All right.
You guys know best there on what's best for, so.
Hey, Mayor.
Yes.
I don't have any questions, but I will want to say that I served on the Florida Municipal investment trust fund committee in 18 and 19, and I have seen how they, as you know, Florida League, you know, Vanguard and some other investment houses do manage the funds. And I would tell you, just being on that committee, I saw some of the previous, you know, outcomes, and it was like, you know, a good 10-year run. Of course, the economy was doing well. So, you know, being on that committee in 18 and 19 really showed me a lot. And I know I spoke to that, you know, to the Florida League of Cities, the investment fund persons when Mr. Dennis was here, and you know, I spoke to them and you know, kind of got them in contact with Steve as well. So that I want to say that I really support this because, you know, being on that committee and seeing the things that they have done, and there was many, there's several cities throughout. You know, I know we're dealing with the pension fund, but there are also some investment funds and some other things that they do to help all size cities. And so I just want to say I really support this move, and by me being on that committee in the previous year, I really saw how they really manage those dollars, and you know, with the staff and there's members on the committee from, you know, different municipalities around the state. And so there's a really fluid and open communication, and those investment houses really do a great job.
Yeah,
That's so great to hear.
yeah, and that was the other thing. I know we have some really great connections with the Florida League of Cities. I know Commissioner McMullen's been very active. I think I met with these gentlemen probably going back like 18 months ago the first time. Took a little time to kind of mull things over, but I think we've come to a good outcome here with where we're headed with this.
That's awesome.
Good. I agree. It sounds good. And how about the Vanguard Investment Group has a good reputation. So it looks like it's a win-win. We got a good choice of investment choices for the 401k members, and we reduce the cost.
Mm-hmm. And you two would know, you and Joseph. So that's awesome.
They meet once a quarter, and so around the state, and so it's really a collaborative effort. They really allow the different elected officials to serve. So like Tony Ortiz, he will add some other people on to the committee by him being the president. But you know, they move around the state, and so you know, with the Florida League staff, along with elected officials all over the state, whether you're a member or not, as far as being participating in the funds, you know, you get a good open dialogue, and you see a good, you know, fluid and transparent relationship. And the committee, they're allowed to ask questions, and they even talk about the economy and, you know, the future and what's driving. And they all those financial houses, I've seen probably maybe 2 or 3. They really, of course, no one can predict the future. We know that, but I really see them doing a great job on really educating the committee and the city or the Florida League committee, along with the elected officials that are on that committee. So I really applaud this. I'm really happy to see that we finally able to move some funds that way because it's really, you know, placing us in a great position. So thank you so much.
We may be in a position in the future, you know, next couple of years, to be able to do some of the investment side of things with the town's reserves. We're slowly getting there. So
it's awesome.
Very nice.
Good work. All right.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
You all.
So the recommendation is to approve resolution 2020-07 and authorize Mayor Stark to sign all relevant documents to move the retirement plan to the Florida Municipal Pension Trust Fund.
So moved.
Okay. I need a second, please.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think I did ask for comments. Any comments from the non-audience? People wonder why they don't know things.
I wonder where that one is.
Pardon?
I wonder who that one is. Is that one that's up there? Is there somebody on that, or?
I don't know. We have one person in the audience on Zoom. I appreciate you very much. First public hearing, ordinance 2020-16.
An ordinance of the town of Oakland, Florida, amending and adding sections 3.3.16 and 3.3.17 accessory structure and massing standards respectively into the zoning code and providing for codification, conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Who's taking this?
So this is just something that in the transferring of files, a couple of these sections didn't make it in. The headings are there. They're all in the outline when you go to each of the articles that we have. But for some reason, these pieces from the, kind of that stick drawing, massing, those massing drawings for accessory structures in this case is one of the main ones that didn't quite make it in. So we just want to get them back in there, and then we can put it up onto the town's website. It's already up there, but we want to make sure we get it in there, and then we can go to the Muni code. So that's really all it is. We've already been living with these design standards, these particular ones.
So we just want to make sure we got the zoning code absolutely complete. So this are the two missing sections. And then we'll be good for the zoning code for a while.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions? I looked at the drawings, they look fine.
Yeah, these were ones that were already in the code that just didn't
make it over.
To that whole big, huge book. They got missed. So we just need to make sure that they're included. So we're not missing anything.
They were missed originally because they weren't drawn into it?
No, they were there, Commissioner Ramus, but when we converted over to the new code, we had to bring all these different sections and articles into the new code. And when Tara Salmieri, if you recall, when she was actually doing that, these two sections, for some reason in the conversion, didn't make it in.
Yeah, remember we were cleaning up the code. We had the design districts, we had the code, we had all these different things. These were already in the previous code, and they didn't get approved as part of the new comprehensive code that we've got. So we're just bringing them in so that we've got everything there that needs to be there.
So all these things were already there, per se, the porte cochere,
Yeah,
the accessory.
exactly. When you adopted those design districts, these came in. So that was in 2018.
Okay.
But when they moved over, it just didn't, for some reason, they just didn't move over.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new.
Yep, all right.
Correct.
We just want to have a complete code with everything there all in one place. And that's what we need to do to get there. These are the last few sections.
We're being transparent here. I mean, I don't think anybody would notice if we just stuck them back in, but that's not right. So we're just being totally upfront. Here they are. You take some action. Now they're there again.
Good.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve first hearing of ordinance 2020-16.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions, any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Second public hearing, ordinance 2020-15.
An ordinance of the town of Oakland relating to the hours and days of permitted construction activities within the town limits, providing for a purpose and adopting findings, creating section 14-149 of chapter 14, buildings and building regulations, providing for an effective date and duration, providing for geographic area covered, providing for severability, conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Right. So this is essentially what you heard last time, and this is, I think, this is a second reading, and it's primarily for the weekend restrictions there, but it also has them for the weekdays for building in neighborhoods, et cetera. Gives the town control, gives the town manager a very easy control of anything that might be a little different or deviate from the typical work hours.
We talked about this last meeting. Did we have any further questions?
Nope.
And if someone is breaking that rule, what happens?
We'll throw them in a jail, pretty much. But,
Shoot them, and ask no questions. Serious question.
right.
Well, I think
Seriously,
if there's a neighbor sees upset with what's going on, they can call the police, and the police would come there and make them stop work at that point in time. Is that correct?
We got the police, if it's on a Saturday morning and they're out there really early and really loud, then the police have this to work from. If it's something that is not as egregious, we can use code enforcement to talk about it. But yeah, we should have some teeth with this in place that we didn't have before.
yeah, you don't have anything now. So it's a good thing to
We
have.
thought we did.
Yeah, we thought we did.
On the road stuff, Mike's got it in the public works. He's got some control over it, but not on the private property. That's the difference between the zoning code is for private property, and the public works ordinance and manual, that's all about the road right away.
Okay.
And the chief will make sure that all of his officers are well schooled in this. Right?
Make sure of that.
Okay. Not that, I mean, I just,
Okay.
And code enforcement, right?
Yes,
but of course,
yes,
Right.
absolutely. I will send this out to the chief in the morning and talk about it on my director's meeting tomorrow, just to make sure we're on the same page.
okay. Any other questions? Those are good questions.
No.
Okay, so do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve second reading of ordinance 2020-15.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions, any comments? Joseph, you got anything? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so we are to town manager reports, and I see an update on town-sponsored events.
Yep.
And then, of course, Parker will opine on something.
Well, I may preempt him. So I got a couple of small things and then we can talk about the events.
Okay.
First thing, so the Avenues on Oakland are putting together a request to do some concrete pouring earlier than the 7 a.m. I will look at the schedule that they provide and decide how that's going to work. The farther property away from any of the subdivisions, that might be something that's fine. The one building that's closest to Longleaf, probably not so much. But as soon as we get a schedule from them, Mike and I will sit down and talk about it. We don't want to cause people to have any issues, but concrete is one of those things. They like to get in there early on any kind of project, and it is very competitive to get concrete right now. So we'll work with them on that. Second thing, census update. We did a mailing last week. We are at 60.8% on the census. The statewide is only at 61.1%. So we've closed the gap with the state. We're still behind where we were last year at 66%. Like I said, we did a mailing last Wednesday.
I saw that.
We did an HOA blast today to all the HOAs, reminding them about the census. And then we are working on getting some of the yard signs. We'll put those out for a couple weeks. I know they're kind of annoying, but while we're in between election cycle, we'll get those out for a couple weeks around like HOA or around neighborhood entrances and so on and so forth, to try to drum up some support. They're only doing the census until I believe the end of September.
Right.
They do have enumerators out, but as I understand, there's not a whole lot of them that'll be out knocking on doors. So I don't know how well that's going to go, but we certainly have put in the effort to try to get our numbers up.
I can't understand why people won't fill it out.
Well,
Do you have any on the post office?
Any flyers on the, well, everybody that's got a PO box has gotten the mailer in their PO box.
There's nothing additional?
I don't know
Entrance?
whether we have it on. We've got the signs at Tubb Street and Oakland Avenue. And like I said, when we get the little signs, we'll put one of those out in front of the post office. But we've had stuff everywhere. The The other thing I wanted to bring up, so as part of the new zoning code, we do have alternate positions on both ARB and P&Z. So we're going to go through a process. Elise is working on that and talked with Nancy earlier about the process. But right now we have at least one alternate on ARB that's available. We have 2 alternates on P&Z and 1 open position. Evelyn resigned a couple weeks ago due to personal reasons. So we do have 1 opening on P&Z. And then, like I said, the zoning code now calls for 2 alternates. So we're going to be posting that on the website and going through a process to get some volunteers for that. So we'll give you an update on that over the next meeting or 2 as we put this together.
Yeah, because we don't have anything specific coming up for P&Z.
No, I don't think we have anything in September for P&Z.
So, but I would love to get those positions filled as soon as possible. And it would be wonderful if we had interest.
I think we've got a couple people that are interested, so we'll make sure we get everybody's information and go through some kind of a process. And then the last thing I'll get to because there may be a little bit of conversation on this, is the update on the town-sponsored events. So we have 3 events through the end of the year. First one is the volunteer dinner that we usually do in October, November timeframe. I'm going to recommend that we postpone that till the spring. We can do some thank you cards or some things with the volunteers. I can work with Alicia and Lynn on that, but as far as having an actual volunteer dinner, I'm gonna, just try not to have those groups and congregation of people. I'm gonna recommend that we move that to the spring or, a date to be determined. The second event is the Heritage Festival. We were going to do that as a partner with ONP this year because through Commissioner McMullen and HAPCO, we had a jazz artist that we were going to have as part of the entertainment for the Heritage Festival. It was going to be on November 14th. I've talked with Commissioner McMullen and I've talked with Jennifer and with Alicia. Most places are postponing anything through the end of the year. Places like Mount Dora with they've got a craft festival that brings in tens of thousands of people. They've postponed that or canceled that. I know Ocoee's done it with their music festival. Just a lot of events have been postponed for most of the municipalities. So the idea and the other thing, and talking with Jennifer, she's had a hard time getting anybody interested in being a sponsor, as well as the vendors. She's only got 2 not-for-profit vendors so far at this point that even want to set up tables. Everybody's kind of waiting to see. And at this point, we would need to start advertising and spending money. So I think we're at that place where we need to make a decision. I talked with Commissioner McMullen and he can speak to it a little more, but I believe the grantor with this grant for Mr. Carter to come and play and his trio can be moved to next year. So I'd like to suggest that we can work on some dates and maybe do it in maybe the spring or early summer of next year, and kind of change that up. So again, postponing it to be determined as we can work through some dates.
Well, again, as we talked about it, originally Heritage Festival was always in April for the first, how many years, Kathy?
It was in the spring.
Years, yeah. It was always a spring event anyway, so it worked too. I'm not sure why when the Preserve put it to October, but it doesn't matter.
I don't know that the Preserve did it. I think it was just a lack of anybody stepping up to the plate to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are we going to do this? Are we not going to do this?
Yeah.
Kind of deal. So, spring, fall.
It does, yeah. Okay.
To me, it makes no difference.
So Commissioner McMullen, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I mean, you mentioned it because, the grant I have is a 3-organization consortium. And the other 2, they have to move. So one is in New York, another person's in Alabama, and they were going to be in September. So they are trying to find a new date. This grant is nationwide grant. It's about 6 organizations or 6 groups around the country. And so they told all of us we have the opportunity to move to 2021. So that's been approved by the grant.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so we just got to figure out a date. And also Ron Carter, you know, is an older gentleman. So, and he lives in New Jersey. And the other piece is, you know, his manager stating that, you know, he doesn't want to come to Florida and then have to be quarantined when he comes back, because it's a flip now, you know, in New Jersey. You traveling into that area of New York, you may have to be quarantined. So the good thing is, you know, there's some flexibility on all sides. And so once we determine what we're going to do, I can reach out to the manager and find out, you know, of course, everything is, you know, depending on what's going on with the virus in the beginning of the year. So, but yeah, we're in a good position to try to figure out what we can do as far as moving forward into 2021.
That's awesome. And that's awesome. And I'm so glad they're so flexible about that. And I'll also mention, you know, in lieu of the Oakland Nature Preserves fundraising, they do have a matching fundraising going on right now.
Yeah.
So if anybody feels so moved.
Yeah, absolutely. They are struggling as far as their revenues, and you know, the Heritage Festival has always been something that they've been able to bring some money in. So hopefully we can do something in the spring that will, you know, be able to benefit them. But they do have a fundraising drive right now and a match. So anybody that donates, you know, it'll be matched. So it's on Facebook if anybody's interested.
Like, I mean, have they thought, and you go to those meetings, and Rick, you're going to be, can they have a virtual silent auction?
We can talk with Jennifer about that. She's been trying some things.
You know?
Just something to raise money.
Yeah, she's been doing some different things as far as keeping things going. They did a lot of day camps. They didn't do the week-long camps like they've done in the past, but they had pretty good success doing day camps over the summer. They are still working with some of the schools, you know, as far as coming through, but they've kind of, you know, had to shift things a little bit as far as how they're doing things. With the Heritage Festival, so again, I'm just making a recommendation. I don't know that we necessarily need to vote or anything. I'm just looking for a consensus. We're going to move the Heritage Festival to a date to be determined, and working with Commissioner McMillan and ONP. With that, we were looking at the November 14th date as a really good opportunity to do kind of a soft opening with the Arts and Heritage Center.
You have no idea how many questions I get about that.
Yeah, so we are struggling with when and how. We've got another about 30, 45 days of work to do. There's still a few punch list items that Mike's working with Ovation on. We do have the CO, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, does everybody know we have the CO on there?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Last week.
we've passed all the inspections. There are a few things that Ovation's got to finish up before they get their final payment. And Alicia is working through getting the initial displays and things set up, and so we've got a bunch of stuff in there right now. We're going to get them all hung over the next couple of weeks. And we're working on the signage. Everybody's been able to see the signs on the outside.
Very nice.
Now we're working on the plaque and some of the sponsorship signs. We do have to do one for Orange County Government and Arts and Cultural Affairs.
So we have a Wesley going somewhere.
We do. We have a Wesley that they're working on with a metal fabricator that will be going in the second little reflecting.
That's going to be an herb garden, right?
Yeah. So he'll
The
be.
landscaping couldn't be nicer.
Yeah, they did a wonderful job on that. And it's really coming in nice, so we're working through the next 30 or 45 days. I think we're going to need to have some additional discussions on how we want to open this up operationally. And Commissioner Ramos had a good idea. I was talking with him earlier. We might want to do, say, a video where we have something that we can release to everybody. We can have different people come and speak at different times, kind of like what they're doing with the two conventions that have gone on last week, the Democrats, and this week the Republicans, where we can tape different people talking about it, kind of give them a virtual tour of the inside of the building. We can do something real professional, and and maybe put together like a 5 or 10-minute video with some different speakers and some different things as a way to kind of give people a teaser as to what it's going to be about.
I like that.
And then Parker, my ever-present question. How are we doing with the window?
We're actually having the brackets that hold it to the wall fabricated this week. Once they're in-house here, we'll bring the window over and then it'll get mounted. And it'll take a couple of weeks to get the outer case on it, but
Awesome.
it's coming. By the way, there's an 1 3/4 inch space between the length and the clearance that we have to put it in.
Wow.
Very close.
Okay.
All right, so we'll have more discussions on that, but the building is coming along very nicely. And like I said, we're getting it set up now, and then we'll just have to kind of go from there as far as how we want to open it up.
May I make, here's my thoughts, and then
Absolutely.
everybody else chime in. For the volunteers dinner, and you mentioned it, I really do think a very nice note, a little Oakland note to say thank you so much for everything you're doing. As you know, we're in the midst of, a different time of life, and, please know that when when things get better, we'll be getting back together again. And then I would love to have a note to the donors saying, we just got our CO. We still do have some work to do and more to come on when tours will be available to, those that, especially the donors.
Well, and Alicia and I have talked about that, but one of the things like even with like Healthy West Orange, they were going to have a meeting out here in the last week or two. Decided to do it virtually because I thought that was going to be a good opportunity to work with West Orange Healthcare District and take some of them through the building. But everybody's just kind of wanting to keep the distance. But I like what you're saying as far as letting, putting a nice
on the journey,
a personalized note that let them know that, how things are coming.
And, I get questions. I mean, you have no idea. I should stop walking in the morning, but that would probably not be good for my health. Because I just get so many questions about when can we, how are you going to do these things? What are we doing? Blah, blah, blah. Not just from donors, but, and so something in the newsletter wouldn't hurt. But, and I had a conversation with Gunster last week, and that's another, opportunity in January. They may have an opportunity to show some of their folks around if we're at a place where we can give them a tour.
Yeah.
So, but just, so people know that we're thinking about it.
Well,
because the building looks done and everybody keeps saying, well, when are we going to get in there? What are you doing? When is it going to be open?
Well, and the Heritage Foundation's still closed. They've been closed since March.
And, in whatever communication you bring out, it's the same, we're in the middle of something really weird right now.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I understand that.
But
They
it
have to
just
be
helps to
reminded
keep them on the
sometimes,
journey. And everybody, I mean, that is just, that is the most beautiful building. And the landscaping and the signage, everything is so thoughtful.
Oh, well, Mike gave the Arts and Cultural Affairs Group about 2 weeks ago. He gave them an update with pictures at their meeting. It was virtual.
That's what we should do with the other.
And I keep in touch with Tracy and Lisa with Healthy West Orange. I just sent them pictures of the sign the other day. So the same picture that I sent y'all, I sent to them so that everybody, kind of knows,
And Tracy was here in town Saturday, so she saw him live and in person.
So we'll continue to work on that, and we'll work on keeping the donors up to date with where we're at with things. And
Everybody's excited about it.
absolutely. And then the last thing is Light Up Oakland and Santa Day. So I know staff's been doing a lot of talking, trying to figure out, if we can't do this, can we do that? We're definitely going to have the lights out there. We're going to have them in force. We're going a little bigger and brighter with the new building and with some of the trees in the center there. We've got additional electrical out there now, so we should be in a better spot as far as lighting. And with the fountain cleaned up and repainted, should be real nice. As far as Santa Day and the kids, I know they're working through some different ideas, maybe doing a parade through downtown where everybody stays in their cars, through the town center, possibly presents, no presents, possibly getting Santa out in a convertible. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Alicia?
Well, we're hoping to give Santa going through the neighborhoods in the horse-drawn carriage.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And then.
That would be cool.
And I was handing out gifts with the car drive-through, so that people don't even have to get out of their cars, and it's really just all distanced, and there's no gathering, but we still have DJ going, the lights still go on, and it's still a exciting event without people getting close to each other. That's the thought.
Sounds good.
I think that of all the events, aside from the Heritage Center, which is an anomaly right now for us because we've never done it before, this is like the most cherished event that we do, I think. So I think it would be great to be able to do what you're talking about.
So we'll continue to work with Santa on some plans and the volunteers that we have, and work on trying to come up with something creative and different for Light Up Oakland and Santa Day.
Could you have like where they drive in the cars, like you said, and then have Santa at the roundabout handing the gift to the kids in the car?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're.
Yeah. That's one of the ideas we have.
I have also put out feelers with, I belong to the organization now, because that's a business for me. And it's a pretty, worldwide organization.
I bet.
I put out, it's amazing how many, and the chapters, we're here in Florida, we're the palm tree Santas, is what we're called. So, but I put out feelers on how are we as a group going to handle that this year? And people are throwing ideas back and forth on that too. So I'll share anything good I get on that we can go, that we can kind of, copy off of.
Have we heard anything from Ocoee and Winter Garden on the Christmas parade?
I had that same question.
I have not. Have you heard anything on their parade that they do?
I can reach out, but was it when you that canceled everything?
Yeah, I think Mayor just canceled everything.
Find out about Winter Garden. I mean, that's the big one.
Well, they do it together.
They do it together. It's all the same.
Ocoee, Winter Garden.
They'll normally reach out to me if they're having it, just to see if there's interest. That's how they did it last year, so.
And just so you know, Sal and
I'll
I
reach
usually
out to them and
participate
check.
in that.
To see if they've already canceled or done anything, so we know. So.
I'll reach out to them. I have a contact with Parks and Rec over there.
I didn't hear your permission.
I was just saying, Sal and I normally participate in the Winter Garden Parade, so if they do call, Sal and I have all.
But they do always do it on the same day, and then they flip-flop times.
Right. One's the morning, one's the afternoon. The next one, it's just pretty much the same. You guys just go in the Winter Garden, half of it?
Yeah.
For the Ocoee half of it anyway?
We'll check on that.
Joseph, do you have any thoughts?
Nope. Everything sounds good.
Oh, you
Like I
just
said.
don't know. Nobody has any idea, so you can only do the best you can do.
Yes.
Some of those ideas for the arts and heritage, get a drone, bring it in,
Don't we bring
Put it
it
on-
in?
put it on the website, put it on our website or Facebook, show them we completed it, interview the donors and why they donated, how they feel about it.
Yeah.
Staff.
And promote the Little Acorns program, or whatever we call it. Is that what it's called?
I don't know, that's what we.
That gives us a stage to explain to the citizens why we're here. COVID-19 changed everything, but we're still in the paper.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes, and Rachel and Caitlin were Little Acorns.
Yep. Oh, it says Matt.
They were Little Acorns and Matt. Back in the day.
Which, by the way, on different, however, events, we've talked to Pam lately, but when she's putting all this stuff together for the Heritage Center, they want some sort of a video of talking about the Oakland Gazette. I had
Okay.
given her everything on, all the gazettes and.
You know who you need to get out here and it would make her day? Would be Kay Vanderlei.
I already told, the two that I said they need besides, she asked me if I would do it. I said,
Yeah.
besides me, Miss Vanderlei and you would be the three.
I didn't have,
I think, well,
that much
between the
involvement.
two of us, we might get the whole story.
but I didn't really, I mean, I folded up papers,
Yeah.
but that was about all I did. But Kay would, that would
Yeah.
be great for
So-
her. That'd be wonderful.
So anyway, so you might get a call from
Okay.
Pam asking just like a short video on your thoughts on how it came about and what we did.
And,
And last thing, we're finished our third day of school.
that's what I was just gonna ask you, how's school going?
Pam's on.
Is Pam on?
Pam, you there?
Hey,
There
Pam.
you are. Unmute her. Or somebody, unmute yourself. Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Pam. I was gonna talk for you, but now no way. Go right ahead.
So, we had the first day was great. Everyone was super happy, glad to be there. It really, I jinxed us because at 2 to 3, I said, we did it. And the sky let loose and we ended up having a 30-30 for, having to wait for, because of lightning. Roland.
Monday?
Yeah, no, that was Friday. That was Friday.
Oh,
So,
yeah, because my house
yesterday-
got hit by lightning on Monday.
Yeah,
Really?
well,
yeah.
yesterday, Monday, the air conditioning went out and was not fixable in the primary grades for the day. So I had to do a dismissal at 11 o'clock for K through 2, which was the first day of VPK, but they still came in and we just relocated them a bit so that they could have their first day and not get confused, the parents. And so that was a pretty trying day, exhausting day. But then today was a very good day, but interesting enough, we were starting to get some, hearing some second thoughts from about 10 to 15 families that were feeling like they had overcommitted to the OACS at home, which is our online learning.
Yep.
And, we told them that they had, we would allow till last night if they needed to make a change. So we're not having this in and out. There's no out, there's this back in and out. 15 families returned to the building today. So we had basically a third day. So people are either feeling more comfortable or they just could not manage and keep up. It's not an easy task. We're trying to parent and work and teach your child and support them and maneuver all the technology. So today was a good day. So it was cool and it was nice and we're moving along. Everyone's happy and so far, knock on wood, so good.
Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very much. I saw the boo-hoo breakfast too.
Yeah, I didn't even get a chance to get over there. I was so busy. So yeah, I hope they said it was good. So that's good. Yeah, we had both the arrivals. We had to stagger arrival for kindergarten and there were just a few moms that were crying. Yeah, many of you know Miss Gillespie. She works at the Presbyterian Church. She's on her last and final Gillespie. And I had tissues out there for crying. And she sent me a message later and she said, I wasn't crying until you asked me if I needed tissue. It's the last Gillespie coming through. So anyways, we're all doing well. The kids are doing great. Like seriously, they're so respectful. They're really doing a great job. I'm really proud of them. Yeah.
Good. They're doing a great job, Pam. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Although your staff missed out this year, no hamburgers.
That is true. Well, we had someone do pizza. Someone sent pizza, which we were able to try to figure out how to do that well. But yeah, we didn't do the hamburger this year.
Yeah.
No, so. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Is that it? All right, we're gonna start with you, Sal.
I'm good.
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm gonna share two things. I know after we had the last meeting, before the league annual conference was coming up, and just briefly, I know I shared with Steve the Florida League of City 2020 resolutions. And then so there was topics around the census, as he mentioned earlier, collaborations on all levels, COVID relief for some cities that need that help, along with, well, I mentioned the things that we might want to look at, and then broadband infrastructure, just ensuring that the local municipalities are involved. But Steve has the full packet, and I know he probably got additional information after the meeting. So the Florida League of Cities annual conference, you know, when Tony Ortiz was sworn in, was done right after our meeting. So I just want to give an update that there are some priorities or some proposals out there that the Florida League is, resolutions that the Florida League is trying to push, you know, through the state and on the federal level. And so that was done at, you know, right after our last meeting. And then moving forward, the Florida League of Cities always create legislative or policy committees. So there's finance, taxation, and personnel. There is municipal administration, transportation, intergovernment relations, utilities, natural resources, and public works. But just long story short, I've been on it before. So I signed up for the land use and economic development for the state policy committees. And so if anything comes on that committee, we have 3 meetings between now and November. So November 12th through the 13th is the last conference of the year. That's the FLC Legislative Conference. It's always in Orlando. So that's November 12th through the 13th. But the committees meet on September 18th, October 23rd, and then we finalize our part. So basically the committees, all those committees I just mentioned, are set the priorities for the state. And so each committee has 2 priorities that they submit, and then the FLC adopts those. And so I will be reporting back on those as we have those meetings. Right now they're virtual, but if we're going to have anything live, all the meetings will be in Orlando. So September 18th is definitely virtual. October 23rd will be Orlando or virtual. And then once we finalize the priorities at the FLC Legislative Conference, that's supposed to be in Orlando, November 12th to 13th. And so that will set the priorities as we go into 2021, you know, to address our state legislators. And I know, hopefully, if anything, especially when it comes to land use or I want to bring up the utilities, natural resource, and public works. I keep my eyes on that because that deals with wastewater treatment and reuse and, you know, water management, water quality, and all that kind of stuff. And so I'll make sure I report that back to so, you know, we can make sure that, you know, based on our priorities as relates to going with the sewer, if that can help us or we could be a part of anything around that topic, I definitely would bring that back as well. So just those 2 pieces as relates to the Florida League of Cities.
Yeah, and I don't know how this ties in, Joseph, but the Orange County Charter Review, that might be more Tri-County. That's
statewide. Yeah, that was done. Yeah, so they did that. Yeah, I think they started that about a year or so ago. So yeah, that's statewide. The Tri-County doesn't get involved with it unless somebody's on the committee.
Because there's some very onerous amendments that were approved, and it was a contentious vote that has to do with land use. And I'm not well versed enough to speak about it, you know, to any level of detail, but it's very onerous.
Yeah, that's outside of Florida League of Cities. I think that's really set on the state. And, you know, I believe I know the governor appoints certain persons, and so that was set some years ago, maybe about a couple of years ago. So yeah, I haven't followed that because I know it was you had to dedicate a lot of time to, and they traveled around the state, you know, talked about all the issues. And I know what you're talking about, but I haven't followed it.
No, this is Orange County Charter.
Oh, the Orange County Charter. Oh, okay. I think you're talking about the
Orange County Charter. So these are things that are going to be amendments put forward.
Oh, I heard about, someone mentioned that. I saw somebody, but I haven't seen it. But no, I haven't followed that myself. But Tri-County Tri-County really tries to focus on state advocacy that affects us locally.
Okay, so if you hear anything, let us know.
Okay, I apologize. Yes, okay, will do.
Yeah,
And that's all I have for you, Mayor.
thank you. Mike?
I'm good. Pam did the whole school thing,
Yeah.
so we're good.
We are awesome with every obstacle that could be thrown her way. I do not have anything other than thanks to everybody. Lots of hard work going on in spite of the fact that we have, coronavirus trying to hold us up.
Yep.
So, thank you very much. Joseph?
If all hearts and minds are satisfied, let's adjourn. It is now 8:34 PM Eastern Time.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Have a great night. Good night.
Thank you.
I'm kind of wondering about a short meeting one of these days.